Welcome everyone. Today we are going to start an important topic of additional mathematics, that is functions. We'll be doing mappings today. A mapping is a relationship that pairs each element of one set with an element in another set. Think of it like assigning every student in your class a locker. Each student input gets mapped to one locker, that is output. Here, set A is input and set B is the output. Each arrow shows which value from A is paired with which value in B. Here, 1 is paired with 2, 2 is paired with 3, and 3 is paired with 4, and 4 is paired with 5. The rule connecting the input and output values can be written algebraically as x plus 1. This is read as x is mapped to x plus 1. This is x and this is mapped to x plus 1. The mapping can be represented graphically by plotting values of x plus 1 against values of x. The diagram shows that for one input value, just one output value. It is called 1-to-1 mapping. You can see for this value of x, there is just one output. For this value of x, there is just one output, this one. For this value of x, there is just one output, which is this one. You can see here as well. For this value of x, there is just one output. For this value of x, there is just one output. So it is called 1-to-1 mapping. The table here shows 1-to-1, many-to-one, one-to-many mappings. Here you can see for one input, there is just one output. You can see here for this input, there is this output, and the same output is there for this value of input as well. So we can say it is many-to-one. There are two inputs, but just one output. So it is many-to-one. For this one, we can say that for one value of x, there are two outputs, either this or this. For the same value of x, there are two outputs. So we can say it is 1-to-many. Let's do some questions related to this. Determine whether each of these mappings is 1-to-1, many-to-one, or one-to-many. Here, x is mapped to x plus 1 and x belongs to real number. It means all real numbers are included. If we see at this point, there is one value of x it has one output. We can see here as well, there is one input and there is just one output. So for one input, there is one output. It is 1-to-1 mapping. Let's do another question. And this x is mapped to x squared plus 2 and x belongs to real number. You can see it is a quadratic curve. Now, if we consider this input, then it has one output, this one, and the same output is there for this value of x as well. One output is there for two input values. So you can say it is many to one. Let's do this one. X is mapped to x cubed, and it is a cubic function where x belongs to real number. All values of x are included. So if we consider this value of x, then we have just one output. If we consider this value of x, here as well we have just one output. So it is 1 to 1 mapping. We have x is mapped to 2 power x. We can see for one value of x, we have just one output. So it is also 1 to 1 mapping. Here we have x mapped to 1 upon x. At 1, there is just one output. At this point, there is just one output. So at every point, there will be just one output. So it is also 1 to 1 mapping. In this case, we have x, which is mapped into x squared plus 1. It is a quadratic function, but the values of x are greater than 0. It means that we just have to consider this part of the curve. So on this part of the curve, if we'll take this value, at this, there is just one output. At this point, there is just one output. So this is also 1 to 1. But it is only for the range x is greater than or equal to 0. If we'll consider the whole function, then it is not 1 to 1, then it is many to 1. In this one, x mapped to 12 upon x. So if we consider any input, there is just one output. If you consider here, then also there is just one output. So it is also 1-to-1 mapping. In this one, we have x mapped to plus x and minus x. This is when x mapped to x, and this is when x mapped to minus x. So if we consider any point here, if we consider this point, if we consider this point, if we consider this point, then it is mapped here. In the same way, if we consider the same point, it is mapped to this. There is one input and there are two outputs. So it is one to many.